What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Arman Tsarukyan talks about next UFC fight. Since pulling out of his title fight against Islam Makhachev with a back injury, there's been no real news on when Arman Tsarukyan will be back in action, or who he'll be fighting against. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. During an appearance on the Jackson podcast this week, Tsarukyan revealed that although Dana White said he'd have to earn another title shot, if Islam Makhachev moves up to 170, then he'll get a chance to fight for the interim title.
Why does nobody want to fight you, Arman?
Right now, because it's a dangerous fight and I don't have a title. And so Oliver wants to fight for the title. Topuria wants to fight. Everybody wants to fight for the title. And when the title fight gonna book, and then I'm gonna get the fight.
Are they gonna give you the title fight?
Depends. If Islam gonna move to 170, yeah, they gotta give me interim title with somebody.
Despite that, he thinks that Ilia Topuria is going to get the next title shot if Islam doesn't move up, even though Makhachev doesn't really want this fight. I think Ilia is going to fight for the belt for sure. I think he left 145 because they said, we're going to give you a title fight. If Islam doesn't move, then yeah, he will fight Topuria. Topuria, who apparently walked around at 180 outside of camp while at 145, the way he sees things, whether Islam moves up or not, the two are going to fight, even if it means he has to sit on the sidelines and wait for his crack at the title. During an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience this week, he shared his thoughts on the situation.
I would like to fight with Islam, that's for sure. I would like to fight him.
But if they don't give you that fight, if they give you like a #1 contender fight,
I wouldn't fight for a #1 contender
really?
fight. No.
You only want to fight for the title?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Right?
I don't care if Islam decides that he doesn't want to fight me. I don't care. I said till you're gonna have to fight me. I don't think they would put me on a sideline because I get the promise that I would fight for the title in my next fight.
So they did give you a promise that your next, when you vacated the belt, that your next fight would be
if
for
they
the title.
give that chance to everyone, why not to me?
From the sounds of things, plenty of members of the MMA community agree that a Makhachev-Topuria fight is the only one that makes sense. In a post on social media, Derek Brunson weighed in. Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria is the only fight that makes sense in my opinion. Otherwise, Topuria should say psych, gotcha, give him his belt back and return to featherweight. Jon Jones deletes message. Late last night, Jon Jones pulled a Conor McGregor by tweeting something, taking shots at someone, and then ended up deleting the tweet a couple of minutes later. Jones said the following on X, the guy who was known for calling out Jon Jones and didn't end up being great at all. As of right now, no one really knows who he's talking about. Some people in the MMA community think it's Dominic Reyes. Some think it's Israel Adesanya because of his recent losses and all the trash talk that happened between the two. But it's important to note that the two did squash their beef a while ago. And of course, some think it's hinting at Tom Aspinall. Who do you think this message is directed towards? Let us know down in the comments below. Carlos Prates fires back at Ian Garry for quitter comments. Yesterday, we reported Ian Garry calling Carlos Prates a quitter while showing his old fight. It didn't take long for Prates to see the video and fire back. Prates released the following video and had this message to Ian Garry. We're here training while Ian Garry is talking on the internet. You have a lot of free time. I'm here training. I will fill him with punch in the mouth. Then he'll keep saying he didn't have time to train, who was on the internet talking hole. Who do you see winning this fight next weekend, Ian Garry or Carlos Prates? Renato Moicano thinks Michael Chandler made a huge mistake. Last year, Arman Tsarukyan took a shot at Michael Chandler on social media, saying that in the 2 years he sat out waiting for Conor McGregor, he could have lost 4 exciting fights instead. Although the sentiment was harsh, it sounds like he's not the only fighter who thinks Chandler made a mistake by sitting on the sidelines and waiting for a fight with Conor McGregor that never materialized. During the latest episode of the Show Me the Money podcast, Renato Moicano explained why he thinks Chandler made a huge mistake by banking on the McGregor fight coming to fruition.
A lot of people gonna trash on me because I'm trashing Michael Chandler, but in reality, McGregor destroyed his career, brother. I think that was McGregor's fault, brother.
Yeah.
You know, 2 years without fighting, waiting, brother.
Plus at his age, you know.
Yeah, but you cannot count on McGregor, you know. He's talking about being president, you know. He's talking about the president of Ireland, bro. Imagine that.
Brendan Schaub just posted that the fight to make is Paddy Pimblett versus Conor McGregor.
100%, my brother. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen.
That's
because,
my point. So why
but
are people
imagine if...
But why are people continuing to say it when it's
Okay.
never gonna happen, bro?
Because I think that would be a very strange matchup, you know. You have an Irish with an accent that nobody understands, then you have an English that is even worse. Imagine that press conference, you know?
While Chandler has not given any sort of indication on what the future will hold for him when it comes to his next fight, he did share a photo holding hands with his eldest son, making it clear that although he lost on Saturday night, he's already won in life. Michael Chandler released a heartfelt moment with his son backstage after his UFC 314 loss. Here's the clip.
You ready? But listen, Chandler's willing to work extremely hard. They're trying to do the best they can there. Sometimes we're gonna fall short. We're gonna come up short. And we're always gonna keep our head up.
We're always gonna keep our head up.
Even if you get some cuts on your face.
Even if you get some
I love you. Cheers.
Alex Pereira releases new sparring footage. Although there's no official announcement yet, it's only a matter of time before a rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev is announced. On the heels of Ankalaev teasing a rematch in Chicago at the end of the summer, Pereira shared a bunch of clips on his Instagram story showing him getting some sparring rounds in. In one of the clips, Pereira can also be seen sparring with the one and only Lil Nog, and another he can be seen sparring with Rafael Cavalcante, aka Rafael Feijão. While there's no telling when the UFC will announce his next fight, it's clear that between now and then, Pereira is not going to waste any time when it comes to training. Alexander Volkanovski interested in Mosvar Evloev fight. Following Alexander Volkanovski's big win against Diego Lopez last Saturday, the featherweight champions made it clear that he wants to stay active. In an interview with Fox Sports Australia, he opened up on his post-fight callouts of Evloev and Yair Rodriguez, revealing that he's confident he won't have to be on the sidelines for too long with a broken hand, and he wants to defend the title sooner rather than later. It's up to the UFC. I did mention Mosvar, he's undefeated. I like the fact that he's undefeated, and still one of the younger generation again, right? I think for the legacy, that would still mean so much. Is that what the fans want? Is that what the UFC wants? I don't know. I'm gonna need to talk to them. We'll see what happens, but I think my hand's all good. I don't think there's any broken bones, so I'm looking to let this heal up and I'll get back in there soon. During his appearance on JRE, Ilia Topuria weighed in on the situation, saying that although he beat Volk, he's happy to see him reclaim the belt.
He's so great. I was so happy for him this Saturday because he really deserved to get that title back.
Does it bother you to see someone win your title?
No, not at all.
You good?
I'm good.
You're like, I'm good?
I'm good. Happy for him.
You established, you won, you defended.
I won, I defended. Right now I have completely different challenge in front of me. I wish him nothing but the best, and to everyone. Like, I wish the best wins all the time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Throughout the episode, Topuria was very complimentary of both Volk and Max Holloway, but he took a verbal jab at Yair Rodriguez, whose fighting style he apparently isn't a fan of. I don't know what to tell you about Yair because I'm not a big fan of him. He's the type of guy you don't even need to take him down. He goes to the ground by himself. I don't know, he's like very spectacular at the way he fights. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of him. I'm a fan of Volk and Max Holloway. While the comments probably won't sit well with El Pantera, considering that Topuria is moving up, the odds of a fight seem pretty slim. UFC updates. On the heels of an exciting card in Miami, let's take a look at today's UFC fight updates, starting with a new addition to the UFC 315 card coming up on the 10th. According to reports, Gavin Tucker and Jung Young Lee will collide in a featherweight bout that will see Tucker look to return after nearly a 2-year layoff. On the flip side, Lee will look to bounce back from his first loss inside the octagon last summer. Shifting gears and looking at some of the other UFC updates, James Lynch is reporting that amid rumors of an Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara France fight on the International Fight Week card, Brandon Royval is planning to weigh in as the backup fighter. Given that, it sounds like it's just a matter of time before the fight is finalized. In other news, the UFC is reportedly close to signing Azerbaijani fighter Tofik Musayev, after an initial report from MMA Azerbaijan official indicating that he would make his debut on the Azerbaijan card. It was then clarified by Baku WS, who spoke with Azerbaijan MMA and Grappling Federation President Azad Asgarov that the hope is Musayev will fight on the UFC's Azerbaijan card, but negotiations are still ongoing. And last but not least, Damon Martin is reporting that on the heels of the GFL canceling its first 2 cards, Holly Holm is looking to transition back to boxing. Ex-UFC champion Holly Holm is currently pursuing options for a potential return to boxing, per her manager, Lenny Fresquez. Holm got a release from the UFC and she ended up signing with GFL, where she was scheduled to face Julia Budd on one of the cards that was just cancelled. So far, no news on when Holm will return to the ring. Ilia Topuria and Joe Rogan call out Conor McGregor. While it still remains to be seen whether Conor McGregor will ever fight again, Ilia Topuria revealed on JRE that he and the UFC actually had talks about a potential fight between these two. Actually, we had that talk a little bit. You know how the UFC is, very specific. Don't say anything to no one. If they offered me a fight with Conor right now, why not? I wouldn't say no. The way Topuria sees things, the toe injury that took McGregor out of his fight against Michael Chandler is just one of the many signs that McGregor's rockstar lifestyle is catching up to him. His toe is his chin is his body is. With that much parties and all that, you're gonna have to pay the price at some point. You're paying the price with your health, which is the dumbest thing you can do in your entire life. Additionally, the two also spoke about a potential fight between McGregor and the Baddie following Paddy's win over Michael Chandler. Although at one point, Pimblett's decision to call the former champ out left members of the MMA community feeling as though the Baddie would be out of his league, now Topuria thinks that if the two fought, Pimblett would make easy work of McGregor. If they put him against Paddy, I think Paddy beats him easy now. Whether or not McGregor actually returns to the octagon in the future remains to be seen. However, he's continued to post training footage on social media, giving fans hope that he may try to return after all. Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull next? After coming up short in his UFC debut on Saturday, Patricio Pitbull is eager to return to action and pick up his first win inside the octagon. As he looks to navigate the waters of the featherweight division, Pitbull decided to poll the MMA community on social media, asking fans who they want him to see him fight next. Dan Ige received 41% of votes, with Josh Emmett receiving 32%, Aljamain Sterling receiving 20%, and Diego Lopez receiving 6.6%. While it's no secret that Pitbull will fight pretty much anyone you put in front of him, Dan Ige revealed in an interview with Home of Fight that he's interested in this fight too. After a win over Sean Woodson on the Volkanovski-Lopez card, Ige mentioned the Pitbull fight, saying, "I like that Pitbull fight. Pitbull is an absolute legend. I don't believe he's ranked after the ranking update. But just as a fight for my legacy, a big name, and styles makes fights. Him and I are very similar in stature, and it'd be a freaking war." While it's only been a few days since Pitbull and Ige fought on the UFC 314 card, so long as neither fighter winds up with a lengthy medical suspension, don't be surprised if the UFC announces a fight between these two for this summer, maybe even on the International Fight Week card. Dana White faces major backlash. Dana White and the UFC are facing a lot of backlash over a new fighter that they've signed to the organization. The UFC reportedly signed former Dana White's Contender Series fighter Jose Enrique, who lost his Contender Series fight in 2022 and then was hit with a 2-year suspension for failing a test leading up to the fight. And before we continue, we have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on MMA Zone by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day. Despite his suspension, he continued to fight in Brazil and has racked up 4 wins in a row. According to Alex Behunin, now that his suspension's up, he's been signed by the UFC. The promotion and Dana White are receiving heat for signing a fighter who not only lost his fight on the Dana White Contender Series, but who was also popped for using steroids after his loss. Side note, the UFC had actually signed him back in 2023 despite his loss, but he failed a PED test before his official bout. He was popped for using a PED called nandrolone, which is synthetic testosterone, and it helps with building muscle for athletes. The MMA world wasn't too happy about the news and took shots at Dana White for allowing this to happen. Enrique originally signed with the UFC in March of 2023 but received a retroactive 2-year suspension from USADA for a positive test out of competition. It expired only a month ago, LOL. Terrible signing. Why would the UFC choose to sign someone who not only lost but got caught using roids before his debut? Make it make sense, Dana. Why do they keep signing bums? So according to this logic, all fighters can build muscle with PEDs, then get popped and come back once the suspension is done? What gives this guy special privileges? Who does this guy know, LOL? No wonder the UFC is going in the no hype, no superstars, and signing bums who cheat. Using synthetic testosterone and still gets re-signed. I hope Dana put him in a 5K contract. This is a joke. What are your thoughts on the UFC signing Jose Enrique? Should fighters be given a second chance after popping for PEDs?